wanted to bring to you today and really share with you was the idea and the concept that, you know, no one in here is what they, whoever the theys are, we all have theys, what they would have you be, right? That all of us have reasons why we can make up that we are less than. We say, well, I'm young, so I can't, you know, or they think I'm beautiful, so I can't, or they think I'm ugly, or they think I'm too old, or they think I'm fat, or they think I'm skinny. And we have all of these things, these reasons why we would hold ourselves back. And the way that we change the world, you know, the way that each and every one of us, no matter how young or how old, is going to change the world is by changing our own lives. You know, by realizing that we have the agency and we have the power. That you are not powerless, that the same thing that created the skies and the trees and the oceans created you. And so I promise you that you are not the one flawed thing in this universe. I promise you that you are not. So let's get into it. So the video was about Pandora's box, which is about gifts disguised as problems. And we all experience that in our lives. We have, you know, things in our lives, you know, that we perceive as problems and challenges, but when we re-perceive them, they really are gifts. And so I'm gonna start us off with just getting our energy going. I am African American, Caribbean, my family is from Guyana, I'm the first person in my family born in America, and I'm a New Yorker, so those are all very loud, interactive people. So I'm not gonna just stand up here and present, but we are going to do this together, because we are all in this together, no matter what our experience is. As I said, that there is no one in here that is less than or greater than, that we are all in this together. And so I'm gonna ask you, here with your lunch, in this brown bag session, to please, you know, share your energy with me, with you, with all of us who are in here. We're gonna begin with a woo! And there are two reasons why we begin that way. One is for the academics in the room, and I'll share that with you, and the other is for, you know, all of our peoples over here. So for the academics in the room, the reason why we're going to begin with a woo is because Abiola's first law of greatness is the same as Sir Isaac Newton's first law of physics, that an object at rest tends to stay at rest. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. And so, you know, I see some of people, you know, I get low blood sugar too, so I see some people that are like, what is this chick gonna say? What is she gonna tell me? Oh, here we go, same old new year, new attitude thing. We are gonna shift the energy. Because everything, the way that you bring yourself to your life and the way you show up for your life is how your life shows up for you. It really, really does. Trust me. I know of which I speak, and we will get into that a little bit later. So that's for the academics. That's the reason why. And for, you know, my party people in the room, the reason why we're going to give a woo is because that is the international sound of people having fun. All right, so I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1. When we get to the 1, we're going to go with a big woo, okay? Ready? All right, 3, 2, 1. Yes, all right. See, now I feel like a bear cat. Before I wasn't getting it, I was like, well, you know, they say bear cat, but I see a lot of kittens. I see a lot of lazy cat energy. But now we got the bear cat energy going. So now we are ready to begin. So as our illustrious host introduced me, and as Brent explained, that I am an author, I am a speaker, and I am an empowerment coach. I'm also a 4th generation empowerment specialist. So this is what my family has been doing for generations, and I urge you all to go back, look at your family tree, and really draw the line of what your interests are and what who in your family line, you know, lines up with that. You know, reclaim your heritage. Take it back from, you know, what seems obvious, and tell a different story for yourself by telling the truth of what is there. That my great-grandmother was a midwife and a women's fertility healer in Guyana, South America. So she helped women to give birth to their babies, and I help women to give birth to themselves. The next generation after her, my family owned a house that was called the White House. It was on the railroad line, like a bread and breakfast, where people would stop in and they would take care of the people who were coming in. And then my mother was a teacher in Guyana. When she came here, she was frankly too scared of the American students, so she worked in educational administration. And my father is a journalist and a preacher. And so what I do really is the culmination of all of those people in my bloodline. And you have that too. We have majestic people that we've come from. So take it and own it and claim it. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today is why people play small and how to get yourself out of that. And then tonight, I'm going to talk specifically about how to take your mojo, your miracles, and your magic and build a movement with your message and your vision, okay? All right, so let's get started. So you know all about me. I want to know more about you. So, okay, so clap if you feel like you have a calling, something that you were born to do and you are already aware of it. Clap if you are still hoping to find that calling, that purpose, that passion, whatever it is, but you're wanting to find it. Okay. Honesty is good. We're all in this together. This room is like Vegas. What happens in here stays in here. Besides my YouTube channel video. Okay, so clap if you are already doing the work that you came to do. Okay, very nice. Clap if sometimes it all just seems overwhelming for you. I applaud you for your courage on that, because it can be overwhelming. We have all these things that we want to do. A lot of us get what I call shiny new syndrome, where we're like, oh, this, oh, no, but that, but this. You know, and we have the things we want to do, plus the way that we want to respond to the things that are happening in the world. And with all the issues that are swirling around us on the news on a daily basis with the thems, you know, as we spoke about, who will try to make you feel less than, you can then feel just like, oh my gosh, it's too much. But I promise you that, you know, when you're able to give yourself the coping skills and the tools, the way to be able to ground yourself within yourself and come back to who you know yourself to be, not who anyone would tell you that you are, but who you know yourself to be, then that is the best way to deal with, you know, feeling overwhelmed. Clap if you have ever felt like an imposter. That's a big one. That's a big one, and again, I applaud you for your courage. That I speak to a lot of corporations, a lot of high-powered women, and you know, I have these women from all walks of life, you know, doctors, lawyers, you know, people at the top echelons of society, telling me that they feel like imposters in their own lives. That they feel like if people knew deep down who they really are, then somehow they would be less lovable or less than. And I think that a big part of that, a big part of the trick to dealing with that is realizing that it's not just you having these feelings. It's not just you who's feeling overwhelmed. It's not just you who's feeling like things are too much. That as you can see in this room, that we are all in it. You know, that we're all feeling that way. And so, you know, the next time that you maybe see somebody acting a little crazy, because people go out of their minds, craziness looks like different things, you know, really maybe think about, you know, their humanity and what it would be that would cause them to act that way. And instead of worrying about, instead of so much the struggle and the need to fight against them, then focus on the need to empower yourself and stand in your greatness. And you shine. You rise and shine. That the sun doesn't need to announce that it's shining. The sun doesn't need to fight against the moon. The sun doesn't need to struggle. The sun just rises and shines and is. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you is actually the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love is my second book. That my first book, there, was the story of, well, someone called it self-help disguised as a novel. And it was the classic German fable of Faust disguised as chick lit and set in the hip-hop world. And the central question of that book was, what would you dare to do if you knew you could not fail? And so that is the central question that I want all of us to have. And if you have a writing utensil, you can write that down, or you write it in your phone or your tablet or whatever, because that's a question that I want you to take with you through this year. What is it that you would dare to do? Really, if you knew that you were limitless, that you wouldn't fail, that, you know, I'm here in part for Martin Luther King Day, and Martin Luther King, one of his most iconic speeches was, "I have a dream." It's the one that's quoted most often, in many ways because it's one of his safe speeches. You know, Martin Luther King was a lot more radical than we are told. But, you know, in another way, it's because all of us can relate to having a dream, no matter who we are, that we all have a dream, we all have goals, we all have visions that then, you know, are squashed, or, you know, our people then tell us why we can't have those dreams. It's even written into the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so I always point out, you know, they made sure to put the pursuit, but they didn't put, you know, the achievement of it or the happiness indeed. But you do have a right to that as well. And some people would say, well then, Abiola, but the Declaration of Independence wasn't aimed at me. You know, it wasn't written for you. They didn't have people like you in mind when they wrote it. But I'm the daughter of immigrants, as I told you. I helped my mother study for her American citizenship test. You know, that, you know, people who look like me have blood in this soil. Just like each and every one of you. I don't care whether your family came last year or came on the Mayflower. Someone bought and paid for you. Someone, and I mean that in a positive sense. I mean that in the sense of someone struggled for you. And so for us to be anything less than we were born to be is to spit in the faces of those people. You know, those women, those men, whoever they are, who, you know, fought for you, who somehow reached out for you to have a different life. And so, again, don't wait for people to tell you that things were for you or were not for you. Claim it and own it. The life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but we're going to change that into life, liberty, and happiness indeed. Happiness as we own it. And so, I'm going to share with you, as I said, the reasons why we play small. First, I'm going to tell you about my friend Aaron. That a few years ago, I went to visit my friend Aaron in the hospital. He was a filmmaker who advocated for other filmmakers. Any filmmakers or creative people in the house? Any artists, writers? Okay, we got one over there. Okay, one over there, yes. Hold your hand high, own it, own whoever you are, yes. Okay, so he showed the work of other filmmakers, you know, in theaters in New York. He was a curator. And that's how I met him. That I was hosting a show on BET for a few years that was a short film competition. And this is way back in like 2009, 2008. And Aaron was showing my short films. That there were a number of short films that I did when I was in grad school, and short empowerment films for women. So I went to visit him in the hospital, and what I saw, before he was like a big man, you know, really strong, really strapping, and what I saw was really shocking, that he was bald and gaunt, and maybe weighed, you know, he weighed less than I did, that he was really not in a good way. And this was actually his second bout with cancer. He was a young man. And he said to me, you know, he was like, I was doing so good. You know, he felt the need to apologize because he hadn't been, you know, eating correctly. And, you know, people who know me know that I'm a big advocate of, I lost 55 pounds a few years ago by switching to a vegan vegetarian diet because I wanted to offset some of the unhealthy things that are in my bloodline that, you know, heart disease, diabetes, things like that. And so, you know, he was apologizing to me for falling off of his plan. And I was like, that is irrelevant. Like, none of that matters now. And I told him that he looked good, which physically he did not. That I was lying in that sense, but I was telling the truth in the sense that his heart looked good because he was still who he was. He's someone who came to this planet, believed in his voice, helped other people to get their voice out there, and did really what he was born to do. And at his funeral, I'm told that they gave him a standing ovation. I'm told so because I didn't have the courage to go to his funeral. And what it really reminded me of was that there was a woman named Bronnie Ware who wrote a book named The 5 Regrets of the Dying. Has anyone heard of that book? It's really, really wonderful. You should check it out. Because in knowing how people feel when they're dying, it reminds those of us who are living how we need to be living. And Aaron, you know, died knowing that he had done the work that he came to do, regardless of people telling him that he was inferior because he was, you know, he was too big or too black or too whatever people would have him be. And so I want to share with you the regrets of the dying, because I feel like it's really important for us, and I really got this feeling when I was standing where Mike Brown died, that it's really imperative for all of us to live more urgently and more fervently, and whatever your work is, get about it. Because this is the moment, right now, that, none of us is promised the next minute, that this is it. This moment is our eternity. And so if there is a book that you want to write, if there is, a story that you want to tell, you're not too young. That this is it. This is your moment. This is your time to begin what you want to do. So the top 5 regrets of the dying. Number 5, I wish I would have let myself be happier. Anybody relate to that? I'm keeping my hand raised because I totally relate to that as a recovering workaholic. I watched the other day an interview with Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey, and they both said, I wish I would have been happier. And I'm like, oh my God, these are two rich, powerful, amazing women, and they felt like when they were achieving what they wanted to achieve, that they didn't let themselves enjoy it. So let yourself be joyful. Okay, number 4, people said they wish they had stayed in touch with their friends. So be sure that you do that you stay in touch with the people that you care about while you are about your mission. Number 3, they said the dying in this hospice, all the people that she interviewed, they wish that they had the courage to express their feelings. Anybody relate to that? You wish you had the courage to express your feelings? I definitely relate to that. And I think that, for us Americans as a culture, we are great at avoiding our feelings. We numb, we avoid with, everything from alcohol, drugs, the web, television, porn. We are a distraction culture, and so the ability to be able to focus on how you feel and take how you feel into account, is really, really important. Number 2, they said, I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard. And so I think that when you choose what you want to do with your life, and this is really important for the students and for the teachers, because it's never too late to add on, it's never too late to be what you might have been, to add on what you want to do to your life, that, really, that you never work a day in your life when you are doing what is joyful for you. That there is, it is work, it is a lot of work, but it's a different way that you approach what you're doing. Number 1, regret of the dying. I'm going to read this one to you. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I'm going to read that one again because that's really important. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Anyone here feel like that? Like you want to have a little bit more courage to live true to yourself? Yeah. So right now, I'm giving you permission. If you needed a permission slip, here it is. That you have permission to live a life true to you. And it doesn't matter that tomorrow people might go, well, wow, where'd that come from? Boy, she just started acting all kinds of funny. Wow, she just totally switched up. It doesn't matter. You are free to be you, whoever that means, whatever that means, for yourself. Because, at the beginning and at the end, you're born by yourself, you leave by yourself. And in between there are a lot of people that may take the ride with you. But some people, it's like a movie, to go back to my friend Erin, some people it's like a movie. Some people will come into your life and they're like the extras in the movie scene that are there for a moment. And that's fine. Some people it's a walk-on role, they walk on through. Shout out to my ex-husband. And then some people will be there with you in the movie. They're the stars of the movie. And of course, your co-stars, who will ride it out and have major roles within your movie. But the star of your movie, the star of your life is you. And so I urge you to start treating yourself like the star of your own life. And so when we feel like when we have imposter syndrome and we play small and we don't step up to the plate and we don't speak out for injustice and we see other people being taken advantage of and we say nothing, that all of those things are playing small. All of those things are us not being, the wise women and wise men that we came to the planet to be. And so I want to hear from some of you. Let's take on, you know, number 3, not having the courage to share my feelings, because some of us spoke on that. Some of us said that we related to that. Okay, so I'm going to ask 3 people to stand where you are and share with us your big, brave, bold, beautiful, bombshell, breakthrough dream, whatever it would be. Your vision, your mission, your message, your movement that you would launch, what you were born to do. Let's have 3 people. First person. I don't want to have to start calling on people. Yes, introduce yourself.
I want to be a sports broadcaster on TV.
Excellent. Okay, so give us your name, and let's hear, you know, I am such and such broadcasting from, give us a little yes,
I'm sick now, so that doesn't help, but my name is Lauren Apeds. I go by LA, and my dream is to be on ESPN, either broadcasting hockey or volleyball, and broadening the horizons of women's volleyball on television. So.
Wonderful. Give her a round of applause. And so I'm going to ask all of us, your name is Lourdes?
Lourdes. You can call me LA.
Okay, LA?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask all of us, you know, because I believe in magic and mojo and miracles, you know, and all of us holding a vision, visualizing things, seeing them in your mind's eye is important. You know, the astronauts do it, top athletes and the Olympians do it, because if you can go there in your mind, you can really go there in your life. And your mind says, oh, okay, this is what's happening, I better get caught up. So right now, let's hold a vision for LA, because there's power in all of us believing together. Let's look at her and let's see her. Let's have a clear vision. See, turning on our TV, and there she is. She's talking about women's volleyball. And we're turning up the TV and we're like, yeah, she did it! Yes, excellent. Yes.
Hey everybody, my name is Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Thing that I'm wanting to do, I'm wanting to empower women and girls with reproductive health. And I just found out today that I'll be going to Peru over the summer for my internship, doing just that.
So you are an international empowerment specialist. Excellent. So let's all hold a vision for Lori. Let's see her working worldwide, empowering women around their reproductive rights. And let's say, wow, okay, I just turned the channel from LA. That was a cool broadcast. Wow, there's Lori. Look at her now. She's in Peru, and she's here, and she's there. Go, Lori. Yes. All right, one more, please. Stand up. Stand up. Up. We have you. Yes?
Nope.
All right, wait, let's take that exchange again, and instead of you, let's go. No, me. All right.
My name is Peyton Harris, and I plan on going into marketing, and I want to make marketing slogans for big companies, as well as opening a non-for-profit organization for youth who don't have a way of doing extracurricular activities at school.
That is amazing. Stay standing just a little bit. Okay, so let's all look at Peyton. All right, and let's hold a vision for Peyton of her. She created all of the marketing slogans for everything that they did for their broadcast. It was amazing. And she does her not-for-profit. Let's look at Peyton. Let's really look at her, and let's see her doing it. Let's envision her doing it. Let's envision her in all of her power and her glory. Yes, Peyton. Back and forth. Let's take one more. It was between you and you. I think we're both one of you. Me? Or maybe you? Okay, yes.
It was Jessica.
Jessica, stand up.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I want to be a detective for Illinois State Police and mentor teens in my community.
Beautiful. All right, so everyone's heard. Let's look at Jessica, and do we see her as a detective for Illinois State Police? Yes, so let's look at her, let's see it, let's envision it, let's infuse her with the powerful energy that we all have, and it is done. Yes, Jessica. that are positive enough to be able to do this, then you have the wrong friends. Because if they will, you know, hang out with you and drink with you and have a good time with you, but you can't share your big, bold visions with them and say, this is what I want to do, and they're the wrong people. And the people that we surround ourselves with, that is critical. That every single one of us, they say that you are the, you know, the amalgamation of the 5 people closest to you in your life. And so if your life is not going down the road that you want it to be, then, you know, perhaps think of surrounding yourself with different people. All right, so we have 10 minutes and I still have so much to share with you. Okay, so I'm gonna really quickly go into the 10 reasons why we play small in our own lives. So number 1, what will they think? What will she think? What will other people think? We're all afraid of, who does she think she is? You know, from young to old. What will people think? What will the neighbors think? You know, what will other people think? Don't worry about other people. Other people are not living your life for you. They're worried about their own lives. You know, that they're too busy, you know, the majority of people are miserable, unfortunately, you know, because they're doing jobs they hate with people they hate to buy things they don't want to impress people they could care less about. You know? So don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. The Joneses got their own stuff to deal with. You know? Worry about you and yourself and empowering yourself and living your own life. Number 2, perfectionism disguised as, you know, getting ready. You know, not ready yet. And we all fall victim to this, that a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago, I ran into a producer on the street. I do a lot of TV where I go on and give advice and that sort of thing. And I ran into a producer on the street who would book me on, I can't remember if it was an MTV project or that I did, or Discovery Channel project or something like that. And she was like, hey, Abiola, you know, I'm on Bethany now. She was like, send me your stuff, I want to get you over there. And I was like, okay, I was finishing my book. And so I felt like, well, I'm not ready yet. Because when I go on Bethany, I want to have my book. I want them to be able to say, you know, because my first book really doesn't really, you know, show who I am right now, and so I'm not ready yet. I want to be ready to present myself. And so I worked on the book and worked on the book and worked on the book, and by the time I said to her, here it is, I'm ready, woohoo, take me, the show was canceled. And so that happens in our lives. That a lot of people, you know, get into what I call failure to launch syndrome. They're working on a website for X amount of years or X amount of months or whatever, or they're going to do this or going to do that. Get out of the gunnas. And whatever you're going to do, step into it. You can figure it out as you're in it. Okay, it doesn't have to be all figured out before you leap. Leap, and the net will appear. Okay? All right, so number 3, all of us, a lot of us, have our own personal glass ceiling to success. You know, there's an exterior glass ceiling, but then there's the one we put up for ourselves. And that when, like with the Bethany situation, when opportunities come to us, that we figure out ways sometimes to sabotage. You know, we turn things in late, we show up late. You know, we don't fully bring ourselves to the opportunity. Then we could say, well, if I would have really done it, if I would have really made an effort, then it would have been amazing. But don't do that to yourself. You're cheating, you're not only cheating yourself, but I want you to think of it a different way. You're cheating all of us. You're cheating me. If Amy doesn't do what she came to do and create that organization, for example, and all the wonderful things that she spoke about, or LA or Jessica, you know, then you're cheating all of us from having the experience of your work. You know, and frankly, I don't want to be cheated. Don't cheat me. So if you came to do something and there's a vision in your mind and in your heart and a message and a mission that you came to share, then do it. Bring it. That the people who are doing things are more evolved or magical or whatever than you are. They're human beings, just like you. Okay, so number 4, we all have stuff. We got issues, you know, so work on your issues. It's not frivolous to take time. If you need therapy, go get it. Or coaching, go get it. I'm talking to you real talk here. Take care of yourself. Handle your issues, whatever they are, you know, that, you know, the personal development part of, you know, Amazon and the bookstore is huge for a reason. You know, I, as a coach, a lot of coaches, you know, will give you the steps on how to do something. I don't just do that. I provide not only strategy, but soul care. The soul care and empowerment, because we need that because we bring issues to the table. If it was just, you know, do this and you'll achieve that, that doesn't work. You know, there's a reason why, for example, all of us know how to lose weight. You eat less and move more, you know, but there are a million, zillion, you know, different books telling us what to do because we're missing the soul care aspect of it. You know, the issues why we don't do what we want and know to do. Okay? Number 5, we play it safe. All right, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but you're not safe anyway.
Wow.
You're just not. So playing it safe so that, you know, all right, well, you know, I don't want to do that because that's stepping off of a ledge. You're living on a ledge. It just is what it is. And if you live long enough, you know, into every life a little rain will fall. So you might as well do it. You might as well be the person you were born to be because there is no safety. Safety is an illusion. And so one of the things I'm going to talk about tonight is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's the big part of being able to live up to who you are. Number 6, a lot of us believe that something is fundamentally wrong with us. Nothing is wrong with you. As I said earlier, the same thing that created the skies, whatever you believe that to be, doesn't matter what you name it, created you. So you're not the one flawed thing, again, in this universe. Number 7, you think that people will love you less. Who wants less love? None of us are signing up for that. You know, so the people who are really for you are going to be for you in all your glory. They're going to be for you in you taking the leadership reins of whatever it is you came to do. And again, if they're not, they are the wrong people. Luckily, there are 7 billion people on the planet, and you can move on and find other people. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Number 8, you fell on your face once and you're scared to do it again. You know, that's with a lot of us. We try something and it doesn't work and then we think, oh, I don't want to, that hurt. I don't want to do that again. Oh, I felt stupid. Oh, I felt embarrassed. Oh, we don't want to take a risk. But it's okay. It's all right that we all fail. You fall down, you know, if you fall down 10 times, get up 11. You know, just stay in it. Stay in the game. Stay in your life. You know, again, there's no safety. Number 9, you haven't seen anyone that you know do it, whatever it is. Stop playing small. And so you feel like, well, I don't know that. I haven't seen people do that. You know what? You can adopt mentors. You can have mentors that don't even know that you're their mentee. Yes. You know, you can go and read biographies of people who've done great things. You know, that it doesn't matter if the people in your immediate circle or vicinity haven't done what you want to do. Just figure, and it doesn't matter if it's never been done, that you're here for a reason, that your birth certificate is a piece of paper that says we need what you got, period. Number 10, because we're scared. And everyone just inside said, no, duh, Abiola, hell yeah, we're scared. But fear is a part of life. And so we feel afraid and we still need to move forward within that. Not feeling fearful, but feeling like, okay, I'm scared, acknowledge what that is, and still do what you came to do. Now, as I said, that there's a lot more that I want to share with you, and tonight I'm going to get into how to build your mission, your message, your movement. But I also have something that I'm going to put together for you all, which is a Hear Me Roar Greatness Guide, okay? And it's going to have the 16 ways to tune up your self-esteem, 12 ways to stop playing small, 27 things to do when you feel righteous rage because of what you see happening around you, 19 ways to answer your calling, and again, the soul care to move forward. And so I want to ask you, I guess the best way, fastest way to get it is if you email me. Send me an email, and you can do it right now if you have a phone with you, take it out, send me an email, business@abiolaabrams.com, and Abiola is A-B-I-O-L-A, Abrams, A-B-R-A-M-S, and send me an email and put in the subject line, Hear Me Roar. Doesn't matter if there's an email, you know, you don't have to write anything, you can, but you don't need to. Hear Me Roar in the subject line, yes?
Can you repeat the email?
Sure, it's business at AbiolaAbrams.com, and Abiola spelled A, B like boy, I-O-L-A, A-B-R-A-M-S. And you're going to put Hear Me Roar in the subject line. If you lose this, you can find me all over social media at Abiola TV. where the TV stands for Transformation and Victory. And I will send that to you as my gift to you. And for the people today that received books for participating, and people will also receive books this afternoon, that I'm also going to be giving you a download code for my new meditation album, which is coming out next month. It's not out yet, but I'll give you also that download code so that you can have that as a gift as well. So business@abiolaabrams.com. And so I want to close with, just sharing with you really quickly, as Brent said, that my book is award-winning, I'm proud to say. And before I would have felt like, okay, well, you can't stand up and say that, but it is, and I worked really hard, and so I own that. And so when they told me that my book had been nominated for Best Self-Help in the African American Literary Awards, like, I was so overwhelmed that I didn't even say anything to anyone for a while, because I was like, it was just so enormous to me. Particularly when I realized who else was in the category with me, that the other people in the category are Russell Simmons, Iyanla Vanzant, and Bishop T.D. Jakes. And so when they were like, okay, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Iyanla Vanzant, Russell Simmons, and the new girl over there, it was really, frankly, overwhelming. And I really did feel like in my bones, like I for the first time understood what they say when it's an honor just to be nominated. You think the person's lying, like, yeah, right. But I really felt like that, because I was like, of course, there's no way that I'm going to win it. There's no, like, I was like, all right, well, it is what it is, and this is amazing. And then when they said that I won, like, I was like, it was incredible for me that I manifested that. And so if I, who my parents came here in the late 60s, early 70s from Guyana, South America, one of the second poorest country, I think, in this hemisphere, geography, but it's the second poorest country after Haiti. And my parents came here, my grandparents on both sides, I told you what they were doing, and both of my grandfathers, maternal and paternal, both farmers. And if they were able to come here with the change in their pocket, and their daughter is here able to have this conversation with you today and be an award-winning author, that whatever you dream you can do, begin it. There's a quote that says, boldness has power and magic in it. Your boldness, you're just taking the step and saying, here I am, and this is what I am going to do, has power in it. And so I urge you, to become the woman or the man that you were born to be. Thank you.
Well, we have a quick, short question and answer period, so we will take a few minutes for that. We understand if you have to leave, go to class, that's okay. But we will take a few quick questions that we will have at 12:45, so we can do.
Hope, or the last gift that was left was still hope in the box. And in your book, The Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, you noted in there, a section in there was speaking about giving yourself a gift. And I think you spoke about your easy bake oven or something like that. and everything like that, with your awkward author's note at the end, which is very funny.
Yes.
But you spoke about giving yourself a gift. So I guess my question is, how can a person who, like myself, is an extrovert, so I feed off of people's energy, I feed off of people's, hope, or so to speak. How can I personally turn that and give myself hope? Recently I went through a transformational time that it got to a point where I felt all alone. I felt like I was the only one, and I just happened to myself. And I believe that hope is still in you, no matter how the circumstance is. It's just up to you to tap into that hope and manifest it into the greatness that it should be. But and then most of the times you hear the phrases, the higher you go, the lonelier it is at the top. So how do I personally tap into myself to give myself the gift of hope, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally?
That is such a great question, and especially, I totally understand, for you as an extrovert, like you said, you feed off of people's energy, that you enjoy that introverts, I'm an introvert and extrovert, introverts, self-soothe and find that power in aloneness, and then can be a part of whatever they need to be a part of. And so what I would say to you is, when those moments happen, because they will happen, where the people around you for whatever reason may fall away and you feel by yourself, that just realizing that that's a part of the cycle of life, that one of the things is that that I've been teaching women recently is that we have to re-tribe ourselves from time to time, which means that you may outgrow the tribe that you're in, and then there's a period of time where you feel lonely because you look around at the people who are with you and you're like, I don't relate to any of these people. Who are you people? Why am I friends with you? And then you start to feel really alone. And what it is that you've just outgrown these people in your immediate circle. And so as an extrovert, there are wonderful things that you can do, in addition to the soul care parts of it, which is, nurturing your, the self-care, which I'm sure that you read about. Thank you for reading the book. I appreciate that. So one of the things that you want to do, for example, there's the site meetup.com, is that you create a meetup or a new group that's going to attract the people who are where you are. Okay, so then you put out your feelers for this new person who you are and say, you've never been into, I'm just going to make up something, I don't know, whatever it is, and you've never been that person before, that in order to find your tribe rather than just waiting for them to come to you, the great thing is as an extrovert, you just start to, around campus, put up flyers and say, such and such meeting is going to take place in this room, and this is what it's going to be. It's not fully figured out yet, but come and figure it out. And those who are meant to be with you will stay with you, will be there, and you'll build it together. And the others who are just curious will fall away, and you will then find yourself having a you circle. So don't wait for the circle to come to you. Think of yourself as, as the light, as a central being that is going to attract everything that you need to do it. Does that